RC about betting.
Yeah,
I don't know why we did that.
Oh man. Well, listen, we gotta take a quick pause here. When we do come back, there was one conference that went 6-0, and I'm going to tell you why the one team in that league that wasn't a 1 seed is the one that you got to watch out for long term as a national title threat.
Wow.
All right, we got any questions from the chat?
We don't have a question, but we do have
Oh boy.
some people in the chat saying that Curbelo was plus 15 today, and they're very skeptical of you guys saying he's.
He was plus 15 because
Good idea.
That's
plus
a very
minus-
misleading stat.
plus
Yeah.
minus-
that's what I was
plus
getting
minus
at,
Is the
is-
noisiest
yeah.
stat that there can possibly be. Right?
Yep.
2, he did have a good plus minus, but he also made some bad plays. If he made some smarter plays, it might have been like plus 21, and maybe you would have gotten a cover. Maybe you wouldn't have needed Malachi Smith to miss a shot that could have lost you a game. So
Now what he does do is he provides value with like this change of pace and all that stuff. Like I'm not saying he's a bad player, I never have, but he had 6
you don't wanna-
turnovers.
you
Like
don't-
he's
you don't
just
wanna-
handing the ball off. Like
you don't want to kick him off the team, but you want to rein him in and use him in probably smaller doses. Look, when you get to Houston, that's not going to be good for old Andre. Those Houston guards, we saw what they did to
interesting.
Jelly Walker.
yeah, it'll be
They
interesting.
ate him up.
He
All
is
right.
a little bit bigger than Jelly Walker.
A lot of people are a little bit bigger than Jelly Walker. Dagan,
What we
Diesel,
got?
nuts hanging Dagan.
It's not a thing. Who's that guy?
It is a
Never heard
thing,
of him.
and
It's
you
not a
answer
thing.
to
That's
it.
the thing.
It's a thing.
I got one right here.
We only got 15 seconds, so make it
How
quick.
confident are you in Arizona to make to the championship? I have Villanova coming out of that region. Kirk Risa, sprained ankle.
I have Arizona.
I have Arizona as well.
We are back. It is the Field of 68 After Dark. We are live. Sirius XM Channel 84. That is the ESPNU station. We're streaming over on YouTube. If you're watching there, jump in the chat. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Do all of those things that really help us out. All those interactions help more than I think you guys realize. Rob Dawson here, Terrence Oglesby, Randolph Childress. We are sitting live in the studio at the Rivers Casino Sportsbook. You can see it in the background. It was getting pretty
got
rowdy
pretty
there.
rowdy.
Yeah, it got
Yeah.
pretty rowdy there for the 7 and 9 o'clock tips for tonight's games. This is a great venue. They have the biggest screen that I've ever seen in my life that can be split up in 20 different ways.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty
We had all 4 games going on screens that were bigger than any screen that I could ever imagine fitting in my house. So it's an awesome venue. Comfortable seats. T.O. fell asleep on one of those chairs out there. Randolph, I looked over. He had his head back. He had his eyes shut. I don't know if he was asleep. He said his contacts were bothering him. I'm not going to push him on that one. I'm going to let him have that if he needs it. But we got to talk about the Big 12, guys. The biggest game coming out of that conference today. They went 4-0 today. The 2 1 seeds won yesterday, unsurprisingly. But to me, the biggest statement, Texas Tech.
Oh, yeah.
They beat up on Montana State. I don't know what that score was, but it was roughly 135-16.
97-62.
97-6. Why you got to come with the facts? We didn't need the facts. We got
I was
people.
pulling it up
The
as we were
people got the
talking.
point. T. I'll go to you first on this one because you are an honorary resident.
Raider.
You're an
Yeah,
honorary Red Raider, a man of the people in the Lubbock. Those are your people.
Guns up, shout out Lubbock. Thinking about buying a vacation home there. Lubbock is a vacation destination. You didn't know that, did you, RC?
I didn't. I
It's
do
a
now.
It's a vacation destination. Look,
Gotcha.
that team defensively is incredible, and I realize what Montana State is. I'm not going to blow it out as some kind of, hey man, best defensive performance ever. Montana State, very small at the point guard position. You can overwhelm them. That's what Texas Tech can do. But it's also a Texas Tech team, guys, that you can look at and be like, this is a team that could play really well in March because, like we said, about basically all day today, you can't call every single foul. That's the biggest thing. Like, if you foul on every possession, you can't call a foul on every single possession. They are exceedingly physical. They switch so well. They can guard so many different positions. It's just a bunch of guys that play together. 6 guys in double figures, 2 guys with 20. Terrence Shannon Jr., we talked about it. Was he going to be able to get his rhythm back? 20 points today.
It
If
looked
he's
pretty
great,
good.
this is a Final Four team.
More importantly,
No question.
More importantly, 6 assists, just the 1 turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Even more importantly, Kevin McCullough back on the floor. If you talk to anybody in the Big 12, RC, they'll tell you that Kevin McCullough is a guy that makes them so important. So let me ask you this: they advanced.
He's a steadying force.
Yeah, they're steadying force. They advanced. They're taking on Notre Dame, right? Notre Dame. trying to picture the bracket. I'm pretty sure it's not. Yeah, they're taking on Notre
Notre
Dame. I'm
Dame.
just going to go with it. If it's wrong, someone will yell at me.
No, it's Notre Dame.
There we
It's
go.
a nightmare for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the other way. I think it's a tough.
Ooh.
I think it's a tough matchup
How so?
because I think the biggest thing we don't give Notre Dame offensively is as hard to guard as any team that we're going to see in the conference because they got 5 guys on the floor. They're going to spread you, and Atkinson in the post is a tough matchup because he has moves. He's skilled. He's a skilled low post scorer. And they're going to surround him by 4 guys that can shoot it and shoot it at a high level. So they spread you out, they drive you. And, I mean, like we talked about today, I mean, we talked about that Notre Dame game against Alabama. And I know there was an injury. Quinterly, hope he's all right. I mean, it looked bad.
Yeah,
But
it looked bad.
It looked really, really bad with his knee injury today. But I had Notre Dame coming out of that game even if he was healthy. I just think they're a tough cover, and they're defending a little better.
I mean, and how poetic would it be for Mike Bray
Yep.
to ride off into the sunset by taking this Notre Dame team that everybody wrote off, everyone said that was terrible, finished second in the ACC, we had them in a playing game, and make a run of the tournament.
I just don't think it'll be as lopsided as we think. I mean, Texas Tech looked phenomenal today.
What's the spread according to Bet Rivers?
I don't think that it is out
Yeah, I
yet.
don't know yet. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they'll cover the spread if it's not some lopsided crazy. I'd like Notre Dame to make that a game.
You know what my concern with that is? When you play that no middle switching defense that Texas Tech does, it doesn't let you run stuff. You can't run your sets.
Yeah, but Notre
Right?
Dame doesn't run.
But
a
no,
ton
that's
of
what I'm
shit.
saying. Notre Dame doesn't
Like,
run
they
stuff.
don't-
Yeah, they're not a
they
big
don't
set
run it.
team.
They're a motion-based offense.
Cut.
They get it and go. The only thing that I'm concerned about when it comes to Notre Dame and their offense and what they like to do is they don't let you swing the ball. Notre Dame's got to swing the ball from side to side.
And in
because
ball
they
swing
only-
in motion.
They only have one or two guys that can do anything. Like Prentice Hub has been fine. He hasn't been as good as a lot of people thought he was going to be. But Blake Wesley, if he's able to penetrate early in the offense, he can give you some problems. But he's got to go right away because he's not
gotta
going to
be
be
him.
able to catch it right away. Like he's
It's
got to
gotta
be
him.
great.
It's got to be. He's the only guy that worries me. RC that worries me putting the ball on the floor and getting to the rim.
We're thinking about breaking you down. What Notre Dame is strong at is because their ability to shoot the ball, they're going to drive closeouts.
The problem is you got to set off that chain of events. That's the problem with that. Is like I think Texas Tech can stay in front of guys one-on-one, which is what scares me to death because if like they have a bunch of guys that you need, a bunch of Matthew Myers. They have a bunch of guys that need to be able to catch it in one dribble or two dribbles. Like they're not a bunch of guys that can make something happen. Those are the guys that can beat Texas Tech.
You know what? You know the other guy that's going to have a great game? Paul Atkinson. That could
But
take
it's gonna
away
be
a
hard to
lot.
even get it in.
Yeah, but throw it in. That'll relieve the pressure on the perimeter if you get him in down there. The one thing is with that no middle defense, like they're going to force you to drive baseline. You have to have people that are aware enough not to over penetrate, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to know that charge. They're getting to the charge spot. That's the entire philosophy of their defense. Is we're going to make you drive that way because we're going to already have a guy standing there ready to take a charge before you even put the ball on the floor.
But that's my point. They already have. It's almost like they're zoning it. And when you're spacing the floor, my point is Notre Dame's going to get shots.
Yep.
They're going to get shots. It's not like we're sitting here saying I don't disagree with you guys. But I'm only saying that Notre Dame is going to get shots if they shoot it at a high level. And it'll be interesting to see once they start knocking down that shots what adjustments are going to be made because they're a hard team to play against because we've seen them all year long. They put nearly 40% 3-point shooters on the floor at times and guys that can drive you and play off that. And it's a different guy. Like today, I mean, Cormac Ryan today, how many threes he hit? I mean, he was like 8 or 9 threes today.
So let me ask you guys this. We have Texas Tech, a 3 seed, taking on Notre Dame, an 11 seed from the ACC. We have 1 seed Baylor taking on 8 seed North Carolina, another team from the ACC. All year long, we were talking about how the Big 12 was this great powerhouse juggernaut. We were talking about how the ACC is terrible and it's overrated and it's not
5-1.
They're 5-1. They're 5-1. We're saying how they're not better than the Mountain West, who is
0-4.
Can I get a stat check there, producer Greg?
They're 0-4.
Mountain West record in the NCAA tournament.
0-4.
Is that bad?
Yes.
Okay.
Suboptimal.
Suboptimal. But